Hello guys and welcome back to another video. My name is Courtney if you don't know me already, and I am from New Zealand. In today's video we are going to be watching the biggest lead ever blown in the NFL playoffs. I don't know who these teams are, I was just recommended to watch this video by a few people, so I'm looking forward to it. Let's do it. Alright, let's do it, guys.
As a sports culture, we've become obsessed with this concept of teams blowing a lead. The Golden State Warriors blew a 3-1 series lead in the NBA Finals.
3-1.
The Cleveland Indians also blew a 3-1 lead in the World Series. And then the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead late in the Super Bowl last year. It's become such a phenomenon that jokes are constantly made surrounding this concept. The idea of a team losing a series or game like this is embarrassing. Yet, none of these recent occurrences really compare to what the Houston Oilers let happen to them one fateful day in 1993.
This is one for the ages.
Why? What happened?
Sadly, football season is coming to an end. But what's great about SeatGeek is it can send you to any event,
I don't want to watch
sports, you name it.
Let's get back
So to
into
start
it.
this story, it needs a little bit of context. It's 1993, and the Bills are looking to make it to their third straight Super Bowl. Yeah, at one point in time, the Buffalo Bills were a dominant force in the league. A lot of this was due to their unstoppable offense. Running back Thurman Thomas was a future Hall of Famer. Their top receiver Andre Reed, also a Hall of Famer. And perhaps most importantly, quarterback Jim Kelly, who just made it to his 5th Pro Bowl. Oh yeah, he's also a Hall of Famer. But going into the playoffs, there was one major problem. Jim Kelly was out. He had injured his knee in their final regular season game. And the Bills were facing the Houston Oilers, who, coincidentally, they had just played in the previous week. The Oilers had all the confidence in the world going into this game. For them, they were led by veteran Warren Moon, who was one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And since Jim Kelly was officially not going to play, you couldn't ask for a better situation. The fate of the Bills rested in the hands of lifetime backup quarterback Frank Reich. During the final regular season game from the week before, after filling in throughout the game for Jim Kelly, this is what Frank Reich had to say afterwards. Quote, "It took me several series to get warmed up and get a presence in the pocket. I was just rusty at that. I had trouble communicating the plays to the team, and running the no huddle was difficult." This was his final stat line. That 23.6 passer rating is just awful. If you held any optimism after seeing Reich play the week before as a Bills fan, that quickly disappeared once the playoff game started.
38 degrees. The wind will be a factor on the run and shoot, 17 miles per hour. Going to throw.
That's him.
Fake comes back, hides some time, throws. Touchdown for Houston. Motion fake in the end zone. Touchdown. And the 4 wide receivers now have scored touchdowns for the Houston Oilers. Moon goes deep. Touchdown, Houston.
It's good.
Things looked a lot like the previous week. The Oilers had jumped out to a 28-3 lead going into halftime. They had outscored the Bills 55-6 in their last 6 quarters of play. And for Bills fans who still had hope, this is how the second half started.
Right goes far side. This is intercepted.
Yikes.
Far sideline. Is Bubba McDowell.
Hey.
And he will score.
The look on his face says it all. That is the pure face of defeat. So imagine the Falcons are up 28-3 on the Patriots, right? Well, give them one more touchdown. Let's injure Tom Brady. And we're not going to give him Jimmy Garoppolo. He's too good. So we will give them Brian Hoyer. The Patriots are down 35-3 in the third quarter with Brian Hoyer at quarterback. That's the situation that we're dealing with. As you might expect, fans in Buffalo were lining the exits. Sitting in traffic would be much better than to watch this disaster of a football game unfold. The Oilers were literally adding insult to injury because now Thurman Thomas, the Bills' Pro Bowl running back, was sidelined with a hip injury. But even with everything that was going on, something had to have possessed Frank Reich, because the very next drive, he went from Brian Hoyer to Super Bowl 51 Tom Brady.
Are you serious? This isn't the same game? What? What? Are you fucking kidding? This is a whole different game. This is a whole different team. What?
The biggest comeback to victory in any NFL game, regular season or postseason, is from a 28-point deficit. So if Frank Reich is able to pull this thing off, it would be an NFL record.
Like to throw, in zone, touchdown.
This can't be the same game, is it?
Imagine being a Bills fan that left the game when it was 35-3, and then on the way home while you were driving and you turned on the radio, you would hear that Frank Reich had thrown 4 touchdowns and the Bills were winning the game. The Oilers did end up getting a late field goal in the fourth quarter, which did force overtime. And they did have one last chance to save this game.
Buffalo has the ball. Adam Langner will snap.
This is truly one of the most unbelievable moments in sports.
Holy
But for Frank Reich, a better way to describe this moment would be deja vu.
From the Orange Bowl in Miami, it's the Maryland Terrapins against the Hurricanes of Miami.
Let me take you back almost a decade to 1984. Frank Reich is in college as a member of the Maryland football team.
He's done it before.
And just like in the pros, he was a backup most of his college career. On November 10th, 1984, unranked Maryland headed into one of the most ruthless places in college football, the Orange Bowl. In the early stages of what would become one of the greatest dynasties in college football history, the Hurricanes brought the storm that day.
Kozar straight back. Dumps it over the middle. Bratton wide open. He's down to the 1-yard line. Kozar play action fake. I just sort of floated it in for another Miami touchdown. It is 30-0.
Maryland's quarterback Stan Gelbaugh was completely overwhelmed by Miami's defense. And at the end of the first half, the Hurricanes led 31-0. Maryland's coach decided at halftime that maybe it was time for a quarterback change and put in Frank Reich.
Okay, Frank. The backup quarterback. Here we go.
Hill with a nice move at the 20. Might go all the way. Reich against the blitz. Throws complete to Hill. Hill to the 1-yard line. And that's exactly what they want to do. The pass touchdown. And right now it's up to Frank Reich to pull it out of the fire. And he's got a man out there.
He's quite messy with the technique, I reckon. But he gets it done.
Listen to this stat about the man himself. After his 4-year college career was over, he had 11 career total touchdowns. And then in the second half of that game versus Miami, he had 4 of them.
Holy
Even though the man was pretty much a backup in college, he still would be drafted by the Bills after his senior season.
Wow.
And I'm almost positive it was because of that single game alone.
Absolutely.
Blowing a lead in any major sporting event is embarrassing. Imagine how they must have felt knowing they blew a 35-3 lead to a backup quarterback.
The greatest comeback in the history of the NFL. And we were there.
Wow. My goodness. I love a good underdog story. I really can't believe that was in the same game. They were playing a whole different ball game. Like, it was a whole nother team. It looks like it was like 2 years later when they had a whole nother team and a new coach and everything. Like, reset the whole damn team. It was the same game. That's incredible. And it's so crazy how people literally would have left the stadium because they're like, no, this I'm not going to witness this. I'm just going to try and beat the traffic now because there's no point in staying. We lost it. It's just embarrassing. I just want to go home. But then turning on the radio and like not witnessing the best quarter. Was it the last half or the last quarter? I don't know. Imagine missing that. Love it. Love it. Love it. But it sounds like that quarterback, he sounds like he wasn't consistent and that's why he was a backup quarterback. Just from my own personal opinion. I don't know okay? But I assume that he's either really good or he's really bad. I don't know. But thank you so much to the people who recommended me this video. I really enjoyed it. Love the emotion behind it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.